What's going on, guys? Graham Jason Matthews here with WhatCulture.com and a Bleacher Report as well. Right ahead of the holidays. It's probably going up after the fact, but we got a Christmas treat for you guys. We're talking one of the hottest free agents in all of wrestling right now. We're talking with the very evil, very nice himself, Mr. Danhausen. Danhausen, brother, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's just sitting around right now, having a wonderful time. How are you doing, Graham?
I'm doing excellent. Now, we were just talking a little bit before we got going here, but it's a big day as we speak on December 21st. You tweeted about it on Monday. You got physical therapy undergoing for the cybernetic leg. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that's been going for you? As you know, you suffered the injury about a month ago. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's over a month now. Danhausen suffered the injury on Halloween.
Wow.
So,
wow.
What is it? Almost 2 months, full
just
months.
About, yeah.
So it is going okay. It was the first day of physical therapy on this robotic leg Danhausen has now. And they're doing easy things, but it is quite hard to do now, is such as stretches and body weight squats, that is. So it's quite difficult, but we shall get there and become even more strong, like the Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Like Trent has a robot neck now.
That's true, Trent. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Danhausen will shave his head and come back super strong.
Maybe so. But yeah, I mean, the timing works out perfectly. Christmas is right around the corner. It gives you a chance to kind of relax, recharge the batteries. You mentioned how the injury occurred on Halloween, but you've still been very busy. Obviously, we saw your Ring of Honor final battle as we speak right now, just about a week or two ago. You've been doing signings. You were at C2E2 a couple weeks ago. I know you were doing the big event. I was so mad I didn't get a chance to go to. You were there day one. I was there the second day. I was so frustrated I missed you. But you've been busy. Talk about how the last couple of months have been for you, because it's been quite the whirlwind, it seems.
Well, yes, Danhausen broke his leg on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was a Sunday.
Halloween was a Sunday, yep.
And then he had surgery on that Friday, had about 5 days off or so, and then was back on the road. So he's back on the road doing signings. I think the big event was the first thing, possibly.
Yeah.
And then what did we do? We did C2E2. That was Danhausen and CM Punk signing together at last. That was quite wonderful. Yes, it's been quite busy. We've just been doing signings, appearances. Danhausen managed the Rock and Roll Express. He bought a mullet to match them quite nicely. That was wonderful. But yes, we've been all over. New York City, North Carolina for the High Spots Wrestling auctions, Chicago, but of course, Maryland for Ring of Honor, West Virginia this weekend, and then we finished up this weekend in Lexington, Kentucky at Toy Vomit, which is toy headquarters in Lexington, Kentucky, with Ethan Page and Swaggle.
Very nice. So you're pretty much clear until February, right? You're going to be laying low, physical therapy from here on out for the foreseeable future?
Yes, unless something huge comes up, who knows?
I guess you never know. Anything could happen come 2022. You know, anything can happen in wrestling, obviously. And you mentioned C2E2. It was quite the pairing, yourself and Pepsi Man himself, CM Punk. Right. I feel like it's the pairing that people have been waiting for such a long time. Punk seems like he's such a big fan of yours, and to see you guys kind of the mega powers, so to speak, kind of coming together at C2E2. Talk about how that experience was in meeting Punk for the first time in person.
Like two macho mans coming together to form the mega powers. It's quite wonderful. So, yes, it was great. Danhausen was the first time meeting a Mr. CM Punk. We ate Starbucks together. It was wonderful. We had catering together. The fellow from Breaking Bad was there. He's Gustavo Fring.
Oh, okay.
The villain. Yes,
okay.
He was there. He's in The Mandalorian too. He was there. We all had a great time. But yes, we just got to meet Fanhausens. Lots of people taking photos with Danhausen and CM Punk, which was pretty surreal for Danhausen. And yes, he just rode around on his scooter because it was really long distance walking. So Danhausen had a scooter to drive around on and honk his horn at people. But it was quite a wonderful experience.
That's cool. I mean, that weekend especially too. I mean, you were quite the busy man between that on Saturday, Sunday, or no, you were there Friday and Sunday, right?
Yes. So we had to do Friday, wake up really early, where Danhausen accidentally went to O'Hare instead of Midway, to fly to Maryland to do commentary for Final Battle at Ring of Honor, and then get back, go to sleep for 3 hours, and then fly back to Chicago to finish out the signings.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yes.
And Punk held down the fort, I know, in your absence. I know he had.
He got Danhausen banned on Saturday for having Coke Zero.
You'll
that's
do
why
that.
we had to go to Final Battle. Pepsi Man banned us for having Coke Zero, even though he doesn't drink Pepsi anymore.
Oh, he doesn't drink Pepsi anymore. Is that
No,
must
he
be breaking
drinks
news?
some sort of seltzer water now.
Oh, okay. That's news to me. So I didn't know that. That's
Breaking news.
I was gonna say.
He said it on the
fantastic,
AEW Unrestricted podcast.
Oh.
He listed off the brand. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, okay. So this isn't exactly breaking news. I guess it's just news to me then. So
Nice.
pretty cool. But nonetheless, though, I mean, especially between that, you've been at other Comic Cons, or you were at the big event, not the big event. What am I thinking of? The New York
City
Comic Con. Yes. So I was actually at that one on the Saturday. I had seen you. You were doing the one with the
MJF.
MJF, or I think you were
And,
by your Orange Cassidy was there too, wasn't
Orange Cassidy and MJF, yes.
Yes. I know you were doing the signing there that day. And I'm like, oh, there's Danhausen, get my chance to meet him. So like a week before that, my girlfriend and I were at a Connecticut show, the bar show in Milford, Connecticut.
Oh, yes.
Not bars. I forget what it was called exactly.
Trivia.
Bar trivia. Yeah. Wrestling trivia. And I mean, I had already known who you were, but she had no clue who Danhausen was. So we go to the show, we see you come out. She became a fan instantly. Like we watched all your matches, promos from Ring of Honor from that point forward. I see you a week later at the New York Comic Con. I'm like, she wasn't there with me that day. I'm like, I can't meet him without her. So we got to hold off, but maybe at some point in 2022. But anyway, speaking of Comic Cons and stuff like that, I know you posted in your vlog meeting John Cena there as well. How was that experience?
Oh, yes. He said, hello, Danhausen. Nice to meet you. You're awesome. Then we took a photo together, caught up briefly with 0.1 seconds. Danhausen was on his way.
And that was the one with
looking forward to seeing Peacemaker, the series.
The Peacemaker.
We had a force field between us.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There was a force field because you cannot have the power of John Cena and Danhausen collide.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a force breaker, and it, kept all of our powers in check. Because otherwise the universe could have, boom.
Exactly. That's what they call a paradox. I think in the Back to the Future world. That's pretty much what it's been. It's pretty much what it would have been.
The dimension of Danhausen meeting the dimension of Cena.
Exactly. It's crazy. I mean, between Cena, CM Punk, and everyone else that you've interacted with, specifically over the last year, and everyone that's aware of Danhausen and your very evilness and everything else.
Conan O'Brien, Danhausen's great friend.
Obviously, Conan O'Brien being one of them.
Dwayne Johnson.
Exactly, Dwayne as well. I mean, I guess that would be my answer right there. But my next question for you: what other people have become aware of Danhausen that you've seen that have really surprised you? That you're like, wow, I'm surprised they're aware of my evilness.
Well, just the other day at C2E2, the day Danhausen was banished. But of course, we had Adam Page. You might have heard of him. He is the AEW World Champion.
Yep.
And they were on stage, and fans asked, who do you want to face? And apparently everybody listed off people who are in AEW. And then he looked at all of them and he says, how has no one said Danhausen yet? And he said, I would like to fight Danhausen. So that was one. Mark Henry seems to be a fanhausen of Danhausen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty good. Couple of things. So yes, lots of, Ed McGuinness.
McGuinness.
He used to draw Batman, Superman, Public Enemies.
That's why that sounds familiar. Yep.
He's a fanhausen of Danhausen.
Wow. He's a fanhausen as well. That's crazy.
Yes. He does not really use the internet, but Danhausen found out that he was a fan of Danhausen's.
Speaking of that, I mean, kind of going off that, the internet really feels like, especially during the pandemic, where we didn't have any shows, not as many signings as we've, had in the last couple of months. And this is really where, I mean, you've been around for a while, but the Danhausen sensation has really exploded over the last 365 days since you first got your bag of monies from Ring of Honor, getting your contract there, and everything else that's followed. Talk about how big the internet has been an influence for you, and the popularity that you've really become in making fanhausens out of everyone online.
Yes, well, it's a free tool. Well, it's not free, but pretty much everyone has it at this point. You have to have it. So why not use it to make money? Why not use it to spread your name? So Danhausen has used this free tool or whatever and followed in the footsteps of Zack Ryder, really hammered in the use of the internet to get his name out there and make fames and monies. And Danhausen used that blueprint along with Ethan Page's blueprints to use the internet. It seemed to work quite well. So when you're backed in the corner, you have no use of physical shows. You have to do what you can. And he did. And it was quite successful.
And
Now
not
we're on
only,
what culture right now?
yeah, no, exactly. Just speaking right now, and that's kind of how it all started. And not just that, but like, you have the Pro Wrestling Tees store, you got Cameo. So I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit at the end as well, but talk about everything you got going on right now and how people can really fully, truly experience Danhausen and buy your merchandise and stuff like that.
Yes, well, we've got the Love That Danhausen, well, patreon.com/Love That Danhausen is where all of the exclusive interviews and cooking shows and everything people really like to watch on television, Danhausen recreates it exclusively for his fanhousens in a community.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way. Danhausen's got his YouTube channel where he puts previews of stuff like that up in a monthly vlog. Those seem to be very popular right now. So Danhausen is exploiting them. But he's got CM Punk is on one. So that'll be quite good. Special guest.
Hasn't come out yet.
Not yet. He's editing it today. It should go up today. So it'll be up by the time this comes out.
Oh, very nice.
But youtube.com/Love That Danhausen. We've got what Cameo, as you said. Cameo is where you can order Danhausen to curse your enemies. What there we get the Pro Wrestling Key Store /Danhausen, where Danhausen is on the wall now.
Yes.
They painted him on the window on the outside. It's quite wonderful. So yeah, Danhausen is pretty much everywhere. He's got his own coffee. He's been on the cover of Heavy Metal magazine. He's been on the Commanders in Crisis comic book cover. So he's all over the place. That's an Image Comics book.
Who did you replace on the wall for Pro Wrestling Tees? Who was there previously?
It was the one. The fellow who replaced Danhausen is number 1 in the PWI 500. Took Danhausen's number 1 spot. It was John Moxley.
Oh, okay.
Now Danhausen took his spot on the wall.
Are you worried about any backlash from replacing one of the top stars in AEW right now?
It is eye for an eye, Tooth for a tooth.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that are aware of Danhausen. You mentioned everyone that you're surprised to know that was a fanhausen of Danhausen. Yes. I mean, to me, it's wild that someone such as, because after I had seen you in person for the first time at that bar wrestling show, the bar trivia show a couple months ago in Connecticut. I was surprised to see Jim Cornette be so positive. I mean, he is someone, not to bash on any Jim Cornette or anything like that, but he's very critical of a lot of things. I mean, you're just of anything, I guess, wrestling related, depending on what it is. And he seems to be a fanhausen as well. I mean, that's quite crazy to me.
Loves that Danhausen for some reason. It's a baffling turn of events, but Danhausen will take it. So also Chris Judas is a fanhausen of Danhausen.
You're on Talk is Jericho. Yeah. You're on Talk is Jericho.
We're on the cruise.
Yeah, the cruise as well.
Saved Chris Jericho at the end for getting destroyed by Chaos Project. So Danhausen was in the main event of the cruise on the last night.
Oh, amazing. I mean, it's a while to think about, not just the last year for you, but the last couple of months specifically, mentioning everything that you've been up to. Talk a little bit about your involvement with Ring of Honor over the last couple of months. Obviously, the news came in October. They're going to be taking hiatus for a little while, starting right after Final Battle, which was about a week from when we speak right now. Talk about, before we get into, I guess, the company as a whole and your involvement over the last year, finding out the news about the company's future, your initial reaction, and what you thought was, what's kind of going through your mind, the Danhausen mind at that point.
Danhausen's monies would be affected. He's not on television anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So his plan was just to, his leg broke, but just to get back on television as soon as possible somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we had to figure out, is what we're going to do. Danhausen was looking forward to it because he's hoping to have wrestled Dalton Castle at Final Battle for the television championship. Don't know if that was going to happen, but Danhausen would have pushed for it.
I was going to say,
slipped a 5 to somebody to make it happen.
Yeah, well, Dalton Castle, I mean, obviously the reigning world television champion going into the show. Was that something that was confirmed to you, that was the match? That was the match that you wanted, but were there
that was the match plans? Danhausen wanted.
Okay.
It was not confirmed to Danhausen. Danhausen doesn't know what he was going to be doing.
Okay.
That was, ideally, he would have been doing that, or perhaps would have been nice to wrestle Brody King, his good friend.
He's great. He's
probably not a good idea to wrestle him, but would have been pretty good, I suppose.
That would have been a lot of fun. Yeah, no, the matches there are just limitless as far as the Ring of Honor roster is concerned. We still got to see make an appearance at the pay-per-view during commentary on the pre-show, which was great. At this point in time, again, we're speaking on December 21st. Is there any end date? I guess it's different for everyone from what people have said as far as contractually when you're free and clear. Is it January 1st? Do you have to wait until April or January 1st?
Year. Okay. January 1st, Danhausen is a free boy.
2022, just another year for Danhausen, which is great.
Right now, we got 10 days left.
Yeah, just another 10 days left. And then, I mean, obviously, your current focus, I would have to imagine, is getting healthy, resting the cybernetic leg and everything else, right?
Yes, we're taking all, like I said, all of January is taken off to do physical therapies and hopefully get this muscly leg back to being muscly.
And not only that, obviously people can support. After you broke your leg, there was a lot of support for you online. Everyone that wants to help you. Everyone. And you can buy, your shirt and everything else through Pro Wrestling Tees. And you mentioned the best ways to support were how you mentioned before, right? The Patreon, Pro Wrestling Tees, and everything else.
Yes, exactly. Just all of those. Go back and listen 5 minutes ago. So we're doing it all again. But yes, you can go on those, and that's the best way to support Danhausen and his wonderfully broken leg.
And going forward, talking about the future and what we can look forward to from Danhausen in 2022. Once you're all healed up, obviously, there's just the state of wrestling right now is so exciting because there's so many different places that we could see people pop up, whether it be, AEW or a WWE or even a New Japan and stuff like that. We're already kind of starting to see that with a Jay Lethal popping up in All Elite with, thanks to Tony Elite just a couple of weeks ago, about a month or so ago. For you, is there any one destination where you feel, all right, Danhausen would be perfect in this one place, or again, really anywhere that might be on the table?
Well, hey, hold on, let me fix my hair before I answer this very important question.
Absolutely.
All right, good. Oh, no, hold on. All right, there it is. So, Danhausen, as he said, must get back on television. There is a certain place, I do not think it has been a secret, where Danhausen would like to have wrestling matches with lots of people because they are all there. There's, we could either team with MJF, or if he just tries to betray Danhausen, should punch him in the groin. Danhausen has unfinished business with Corey from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you really count it. There's lots of Danhausen needs a team with Pepsi Man, CM Punk. Needs to fight Hangman apparently because he's calling out Danhausen in Chicago's. So seems to be one place for Danhausen where the goal might be. What was that? Is the AEW. We even tried going to the headquarters.
Oh, really?
And asking the machine. It seemed to be closed. But if you're hoping and Tony is inside, Danhausen needs a job. He's been fired. So.
Have you had any conversation, any interaction with Tony Elite at all? I know he had shouted you out in that, not the Barstool podcast, my mom's basement.
Danhausen said hello, and he said hello back. So.
With a question mark.
Yes, with a question mark.
With a question mark. Was that the extent?
Did not break the rules. Danhausen also, speaking of the rules, for the rules, FTR, Danhausen must find a partner who wrestle them once his leg is healed.
So, speaking of that, is that something, if you were to go to an AEW, there's a lot of stables there, it seems. Yes. Is a group something you're interested in, or would you rather fly solo or the tag team ranks? Anything particular really stand out to you?
Well, Danhausen could be CM Punk's legend, like how Darby has Sting.
True.
We could do that. Give him some advice on how to get the championship. Danhausen does have a lot of good friends there, and Orange Cassidy is one of them. What else do we have? The Dark Order is pretty evil. They seem quite nice.
Yes, very evil, very nice.
What else do we have? Obviously, there's tons of people to fit in. Britt Baker, she seems to deal with teeth, which is
true.
Pertaining to Danhausen's interests.
Yeah.
Chris Judas, that good friend of Danhausen. Perhaps Danhausen join them. Those fellows, Santana and Ortiz, are looking quite evil these days. So, who knows?
Actually, yeah.
Who wear scars with MJF.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. MJF, Santana, Ortiz, obviously Punk would be a natural
fit. This is the thing. There is a whole list of people Danhausen loves at that company.
Yeah.
So we shall make enemies with them, or we shall make friends with them, or whatever. Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. Danhausen has been helping out while he's broken.
That's probably the biggest feud in wrestling right now is Danhausen versus the Ass Boys. And you're not even technically in AEW right now, and that's the biggest feud going into the new year.
Danhausen's just trying to help them by embracing their name and making their famous rise.
And you're helping them sell t-shirts. I don't know if they realize
they got the t-shirts via Danhausen's wonderful fames.
And all the monies is going to them, not Danhausen.
Oh, yes. We shall call Tony Elite and see what the deal is with that.
We got to figure that out. It just seems like too natural of a fit, obviously. But if there were other options on the table, especially now, just to throw it out there, somewhere like an NXT 2.0, when they're kind of focusing on Danhausen-like type superstars right now. Not that you don't want to say no to any one particular offer, obviously. Is that something that would interest you at all? Were you one of those people growing up? Was Danhausen one of those people growing up that, always dreamed of being in WWE? Obviously, times are different now where it's not the be-all, end-all as it once was 10, 15 years ago. What would be your thoughts on a WWE potential landing spot?
Well, Danhausen has good friends there as well. Danhausen would love to wrestle Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn would be quite wonderful. Danhausen would love the team with the New Day. He's good friends with Xavier Woods. What else? Shotzi Blackheart, Danhausen, great friend. So, who knows? Cesaro is there, wonderful wrestler. So there's lots of people Danhausen would love to wrestle there. Kevin Owens just re-signed, it seems.
He did, yeah.
And Danhausen would love to wrestle him. He would not like to get stunned by him, though. But they're from Danhausen's area, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, from Montreal area.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Did you have any interaction with them prior to them joining WWE, or just aware of them and just friendly with them?
Just aware of them, and then Danhausen has met Sami Zayn once.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
He's pretty good. He's pretty nice.
Very nice and very evil to a degree as well. It seems like he also, if rumors would be believed, and we're speaking right now, that he also may have re-signed with WWE. Oh. So it seems like their future may also be in WWE for right now as well.
Danhausen doesn't know.
Maybe I could be wrong.
So Danhausen will take your word for it.
We'll see. I may not be the most credible source, but that's what I've heard so far. But as we wind down, you're talking about wrestling and all this other stuff. With non-wrestling things, just a bunch of random questions for you. But my girlfriend is just obsessed with tattoos. She loves tattoos. She's a big tattoo enthusiast. Obviously, Danhausen has quite a few of them. Can you talk a little bit about a few of the tattoos that you have and some of the inspiration behind said tattoos?
Yes, we shall talk about these ones. There is a cat named Scratchy. I said this backwards. And a mouse named Itchy. We got those. Nice. There's a forbidden donut. It is a cursed donut, if you will. Right around here, I think. We have a Dr. Doom, because she's quite the leader. And what else do we have? We have this wonderful handsome devil. That's pretty good. So, get the wonderful Simpsons, the Dr. Doom, and then we got the devil.
Very nice. It seems like a very good combination of tattoos to have. Any one like particular story or meaning behind them, or just stuff that you liked?
Just stuff that Danhausen likes. It's a collection of his personalities.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Hey,
just an extension. Just an extension of Danhausen, which is fantastic. We were talking a little bit again before we got started here about comic books and stuff like that. People can check out more about your unboxings and more about that stuff on your YouTube channel as well. Love that, Danhausen. Going off that again, spoiler alert, I mentioned that I was gonna throw that out there. Spider-Man No Way Home was just released last Friday as we speak right now. Fantastic movie. Can you give me your 2 cents on it, what your thoughts on it were, and how they kind of brought everything together for the Spider-Man franchise?
Seemed to be a fan service movie done in the perfect way. There was not too much. Some films do the fan service thing, and it is just too much hammered in. This was done tastefully. It was done well. Willem Dafoe stole the show.
Absolutely.
Danhausen does wish that, spoiler alert, he turned green in the face. But his facials, quite wonderful enough to look like a goblin man. So, it was good. Danhausen enjoyed himself thoroughly. It was a long movie, but it did not feel like a long movie because it was paced well, if you will. The surprise is, I don't know how much we can get into this. It comes out in a week later, but he's happy to see everybody return. He did not understand, though, what was the point of Venom?
So,
was it just to get rid of Venom? To get their own?
That's what I was wondering as well, because they had teased and Let There Be Carnage that he would be part of the MCU. Technically, he was for about 30 seconds in this movie.
And then he disappears again.
Yeah, so I guess we could get Venom in this universe, but are we not going to get the Tom Hardy Venom in the MCU moving forward? What are your thoughts on that?
Hopefully not. Danhausen's not a fan of those films.
Really? Is that your hot take?
First one was fine, I guess.
Okay.
Second one, too much.
Too much? What
Danhausen enjoyed 0% of the second movie.
Really? Let There Be Carnage?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Wow. How would you compare it to Spider-Man 3 and the involvement of Venom in that one?
Danhausen would rather watch Spider-Man 3 than watch Venom 2.
Wow, that is a hot take, sir.
Yeah, I suppose so, but you know what? At least that one has silly bad parts. This movie just did not do anything for Danhausen. Danhausen was bored the whole time.
So you're happy that we're not getting that Tom Hardy Venom. You were probably cheering in the theater after you saw that post-credit scene.
Yeah, it just went good. We can get our own version of Venom. Because it's too much. It's like if Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny became Venom.
You think so?
Kind of. That's what it seems like to Danhausen.
Oh, interesting. What about Flash? You think he might be getting the Venom symbiote next?
I hope not. That also seems bad.
Is there any one person in that universe you think would be a good fit that we've seen on screen so far, or no?
No. I think we need to introduce someone.
Okay.
He'd introduce Eddie Brock. He hasn't been introduced yet.
In this universe.
In this universe, yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, maybe Danhausen could be Eddie Brock in this universe.
You know what? I think that would be a good idea. I think that would be the way to make even more billions of dollars to put Danhausen in the MCU.
Exactly. Make more monies. Going off that as we wind down here, like I said, your entrance music is fantastic. Obviously, Playoff Tequila and your own version of it is great as well, available on your YouTube channel.
Right, 2 minutes to late night.
Yeah, exactly. 2 minutes to late night. Exactly. If you were to use it by, in anywhere that you go, are you able to use it? Is that something that's royalty free?
Danhausen owns it now. They gave Danhausen the rights to it.
Oh, perfect. I was surprised that Ring of Honor one. I mean, your Ring of Honor music was good too. I'm surprised they wouldn't let you use that over there.
Danhausen tried. They wanted Danhausen to keep their house music or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, so Danhausen tried to push that music. He said, "Hello, Danhausen's had custom music made.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to use it?" And they said, "Yeah."
Well, I mean, again, at least going forward, you can use it wherever you go, which is fantastic. Because we heard it for the first time at that bar show, and I'm like, well, why does this sound so familiar? And I didn't realize until later, obviously, what it was, which was just excellent.
Yes, Danhausen would like to get John Carpenter or Danny Elfman to make him in music too.
Oh, really? Is that like on your bucket list of things to do?
Yes, one of the two would be quite cool.
Oh, that would be excellent. Anything else going forward into 2022? Obviously, be signed by All Elite would be fantastic. Things that you want to do, stuff even like that, even stuff that you wouldn't really necessarily even put on a bucket list, stuff you want to do in 2022.
Be a television show, non-wrestling related as well. Would be quite nice.
That would be cool.
Maybe a Danhausen comic book itself, not just on a cover.
Mm-hmm.
Danhausen cartoon, Danhausen action figure, which is coming out. So but like full scale.
Yeah.
We get the small one, but we need the full scale action figure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Danhausen would want to, what are they called? The pop vinyls are very popular.
Oh, those are great.
It seems as though someone has a stronghold on them. For wrestling. So
really, I was gonna say, because weren't there was a Cody and a Bucks one years ago,
yes, before shortly after that they were not anymore. So
I guess that was the only time when we got that type of Funko Pop. So
we'll have to find a way around that to make many monies with one of those.
That is true. Many monies are to be made with Funko Pops in the future. I didn't know I wanted one of those until you mentioned. And now people can make this stuff custom too, so that's always an option.
True, but they cost too much then.
Yeah, it's true. You got to get one of those official ones.
So monetize with multiples.
Exactly, got to monetize. Christmas on Saturday, from when we speak right now. What are your holiday plans? What are the holiday plans for Danhausen?
Danhausen will meet up with his assistant Davis and camera boy Nicholas at night and exchange gifts.
Nice.
Besides on that, he'll do some family time, very evil family time, and hopefully someone gives him a drum set.
Oh, drums. Is that what you're looking for Christmas?
Yes. Top quality drum set.
Are you a drummer?
Yes. Well, you do other things.
Oh, I didn't know.
Danhausen. It's wonderful.
That's awesome. Any Christmas movies that you're looking to watch before Saturday night that you haven't seen already this month? I mean, I guess favorite Christmas movies.
Danhausen always watches Home Alone.
Fantastic.
So we've watched Home Alone like 8 times this year, at least before Christmas even. Watched, Christmas Vacation about 5 times already this year.
Amazing. That's my probably second favorite Christmas movie, yeah.
What's your first?
So my first one is The Grinch from 2000, personally. I mean, I just love Jim Carrey's Grinch. I think it's fantastic.
I have not watched that in a long time, probably since the theater.
Really?
Maybe it's time to revisit.
I was going to say that movie came out 20 years ago, like last month. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
That's wild.
So yes, maybe we'll revisit that because I kind of haven't watched that yet because he's only watched it as a child.
What about Home Alone 2?
Oh, Home Alone 2 is good. We watched it about 3 times this year. Switch it back and forth.
Yeah, you got to switch it back and forth. And the second one, obviously, they're Lost in New York, so it's great. Are the subsequent installments, are you like me and you kind of just disregard those? I know they just came out with a new one on Disney Plus.
Nah, don't watch those. We just watch number 1 and number 2, and then that's it. You kind of watch them on repeat.
Yeah, you can never get bored of those movies, and no matter how illogical even the second one tends to be, you can never get old and never
even
get tired
on the Jetta cruise. They also a movie channel.
Oh, really?
Only played. There was like 2 channels on this cruise. One of them played movies, and the other one was some sort of news site.
Yeah.
Home Alone played one time, and Danhausen missed it. He was very upset.
Oh, I would be too. They were playing Home Alone, and that was in October, was it not?
Yes, it was in the middle of the ocean.
Are you one of those people that watches Home Alone throughout the year, or just in December like me?
Yep, you can watch it throughout the year. It's just fine.
Okay, all right.
Danhausen will watch Home Alone throughout the year and American Werewolf in London.
Oh, fantastic! I know you're a big horror movie fan as well.
Yes, so we'll watch that throughout the whole year too.
Oh, very nice. What would be your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, I cannot answer this. It's just too hard. Oh, no, we're on the spot. Now we're blanking. What is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is pretty good.
Okay.
You got Army of Darkness.
Good one.
Alien, maybe we'll say Alien or The Thing.
Okay, those are classics. Those are classic movies.
We got Halloween, but of course, the original Halloween too.
No, not the sequels. Are you a fan of the remakes or no?
No.
No. Okay. I figured you're one of those people that didn't like Halloween Kills.
No. But they did like 2018.
Okay.
2018 was good. It had a fantastic score from John Carpenter.
Yep.
Danhausen did not really care too much for Halloween Kills. But hopefully he'll watch the next one. Hopefully the next one Danhausen will like.
And that one should be great as well. I look forward to that. I mean, this one was good. I enjoyed it, but I figured it was kind of a transitional film for what it was. So we'll see when it comes out. I think it's just next year. So we have that to look forward to. You know, obviously there's a lot of stuff on slate for 2022, including the future of Danhausen. We all look forward to it. Last question for you, Danhausen. How can people be very nice, very evil? What's your tip for that? What would you say to people if they ask, how can I be very evil like Danhausen?
Do not be too evil, otherwise people will not like you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be too nice, otherwise you come off as a phony. So you must be very nice, very evil, perfect balance, and then people will entrust you and let you in and give you their monies.
Perfect.
And power.
And power too. You got to get power and monies, and
Yes.
people can send you their monies by purchasing your merch, signing up for the Patreon, catching you on YouTube as well. You mentioned it earlier, but one final time, where can people find your stuff? Obviously, social medias as well. You're on Twitter. You're a huge hit on social media.
Apparently so. Yes, we got Instagram, Twitter. We got the Patreon /LoveThatDanhausen, YouTube /LoveThatDanhausen, Cameo /Danhausen, and Pro Wrestling Tee /Danhausen. You can also buy the Danhausen coffee at rootlesscoffee.com. It's quite wonderful. It's in a grocery store.
Oh, perfect. Is it in any particular grocery store or like?
There's Hollywood Markets locally in Michigan.
Oh, okay. Very nice. I'm a Northeast guy, so I might have to fly to Michigan just to find that. Unless I can get it online somewhere. Is it just there?
You can get it online on rootlesscoffee.com.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. So I might have to do. I mean, it's a little late.
Danhausen on there.
Oh, okay, perfect. It might be a little late and close to Christmas, but maybe I can ask for it, as a late Christmas gift. I'm not sure. So I guess we'll see.
Be cursed.
Most certainly cursed. Well, Mr. Danhausen, this has been a fantastic time. I appreciate you taking the time here today. This has been awesome, and best of luck to everything you do going forward into 2022. We're all rooting for you. We all wish you well in your recovery, and we look forward to seeing what we're going to do next.
Thank you very much. Yes, we shall see. Just the Danhausen on television. That's the goal.
That's the goal, and I have a feeling it's going to be accomplished sooner rather than later. So we all look forward to it, Danhausen. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I hope to speak to you soon.
Yes, you too. Thank you.